don't know by now, this podcast is all ears. It is in connection with my storytelling channel, House Remember. My guest today is Vanessa. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm good. Thank you for coming on. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
We just watched a story from House Remember. We watched the story about Jackie Rivers. Hey, Jackie. Jackie gave the story about her marriage. She was with a guy. I don't know if she mentioned that in the video, but she was with him for a long. Like before they got married, they were together for like I think like 7-8 years. Yeah, they were together for like 7-8 years, and then they got married, and they were only married for like a year and a half, and then they split up via him. He's a military guy. And Vanessa herself has been with a man for a very long time. How long you been married?
I was married. I was 18 years. With him, 22 years.
That's so long.
Yeah.
Now, how long were you with him before you got married?
2 years.
So, see, I always see two dynamics. I may be wrong, but I always see this like with friends. Someone will be, they either meet, get married in like the first year and a half, 2 years, and be married for like 8 years, and then it whatever may fail. Or you see people who are together for like 7-8 years, they get married and they're only married for like a year or two, and then it falls through. All my friends, or whoever been married in my like group, a lot of them are in that same. It's one of the two.
It's hard.
Yeah. It's one of the. It's always one of the two. Yeah. They'll get married right off the bat, and they'll be together for years, or they'll be together for years, get married, and it's gone in like a year.
Yeah. They're still married.
And I feel like people. I feel like when someone's together for like 7-8 years and they get married, I feel like someone's just trying to keep it going. Jackie mentioned that in the story. Her man said that, right?
To keep her.
He said that to her. She was like, "Why would you ask me to marry you knowing you were feeling, you know?" And she said he flat out said to keep you. Mm-hmm. Like that's whew. Selfish. You don't get no more selfish than that. I'm surprised he even admitted it.
You do get more selfish than that.
You can.
Yeah, you can. So we started our divorce in 2016. And then, excuse me, and then we ended up getting back together after a year and a half. And then we got back together and he promised me he was going to change, and it didn't happen. So then in last year, I started the divorce again in, I think it was July. And then that's when we just like became separated. And
last summer, July?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was so.
Yeah.
That's a lifetime. I think 6 kids? Mm-hmm. You are one of the rare people. I can't even remember last time I met someone who was married that long.
And I tried. I really did try. But it wasn't. It was like forcing a puzzle piece. Mm-hmm. Forcing somebody to stay who didn't want to stay. So I knew in my heart that it was time to divorce.
Yeah, sometimes it is.
Yeah. It's hard though.
What's he been saying since this final divorce?
That's a good question. We have no communication.
Really?
We have no communication whatsoever.
That's when men go crazy.
And when we do, It's nothing but arguing. So we don't, he blocked me.
Oh, wow.
I have no communication with him. The only people who communicate with him is my daughter.
And kids?
Yeah. He feels that we don't need to communicate.
Oh, yeah, he's mad.
I don't know why. It was his choice.
No social media, no nothing?
He doesn't believe in social media.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. He's old school.
He is. He sounds old school.
He does not believe in social media. He has no Instagram, Facebook, nothing. You won't find him on social media.
That's probably a good thing. Because then he'd be creeping on your pages.
Probably, or his family can do that though.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 18 years. Whew. How's it been dating after that? That's got to be, not even 18 years, 22. Mm-hmm. That's got to be wild. The dating scene has changed.
Yeah, it has.
The dating scene changes in like every five like years. It's like every 4 or 5 years is different. Like I can't even imagine now.
So when I got with him, I was 18. He was 17. That was like in the late 1999. So that's the last time I know about dating. So
The good old days. Yeah.
I'm 40 now, and I'm like, what do I do? Where do I start? I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely different. Cause now we got apps. Now we got social media. We got. I mean, people are running into people everywhere. Facebook, Bumble, Tinder, sliding in IG DMs. That's got to be wild. What do men say when you say, I've been single for 20 years?
I don't really talk to a lot of guys.
At some point, someone's going to ask, oh, what was your last?
Well,
What was your last relationship? Someone's going to ask.
they do, but I just say I was married for a long time, and some people take it, some people leave it. They're like,
what do you be like a long time? Like, yeah, I was married. So how about you?
Yeah. Tell me about you. Let's not talk about me. Yeah.
Are you ever going to get married again?
I do. I always say,
You hopeful. I like that.
my first experience is not gonna ruin it. I'm such a lovable person. Like, I love the idea of being in a relationship, and just because it didn't work out with him doesn't mean it's not gonna work out.
Yeah, that's true.
That's one thing. Like, you live and learn. You live and learn, and I'm taking everything that I went through as a positive experience, and not focus so much on the negative. Of course, you think about, am I going to get hurt again? You know, you think about that. You think about, you're going to get married. You don't want to get divorced again, because like the heartbreak, there's a lot of heartbreak with it. A lot of like trust issues, a lot of like, doubting yourself. Did I do something wrong? Could I have done something different? But then with me, I changed who I was so much that I became who he was. I didn't have an identity no more. So now I'm in like okay, who are you? What do you want out of life?
Right.
Like, just there.
The last podcast, I was talking about a friend of mine, their mom. She'd been married 5 times. And she was married 5 times. And she had kids by like all the husbands. And I was telling them that because I went to 2 of her weddings. I think I went to 3 and 4. And I was telling them, like, at her weddings, she was still doing all out weddings. Like, every wedding was like 300 plus. Her dad gave her away at every wedding. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And each wedding, I mean, each time she was married for like quite a few years. Like, each one was like 5 years, 6 years. Like, cause I think she's like 57 now. But yeah, she had another wedding like 5 years ago. And she's having, her family's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? It's like,
I'm just
yeah.
That is so
and
crazy.
She's having like wedding. I remember when I went to her 3rd wedding. It looked like her 1st wedding. It was huge. I was like, wow.
Luckily for me, I went to Vegas and got married.
Yeah, that's all you need.
But I still feel like I want to be that princess. I want to wear my dress. I want to see like my future husband waiting for me. I want to just like have that moment, that love. I actually look forward to that.
Yeah, everyone. That's your night. That's your day.
And it's okay. You don't get to experience certain things in your first relationship, but I feel like as you're older, you know what to do, what not to do, and you're just more mature. You know what you want. So, I mean, I hope I don't have 5 weddings.
I'm telling you, I went to her 3rd wedding. I said, this feels like her 1st wedding. It was huge. Everyone's in all white. Had like a little horse carriage. It was insane. I was like, how many people here? And my friend was like, it's 287 people here. I was like, what? For her 3rd wedding? And then, I think it was 4 years later, I went to her 4th wedding. It was actually a little bigger than that last one. It was up in Irvine. Up in Irvine, California. bigger than the last one. I was like, whoa. She's up there, with her bridesmaid. And it's funny because some of those women, my friend was like, some of my mom's friends were her bridesmaids in like all her weddings.
I want to get back to when you asked me about dating. So,
Yeah.
excuse me, when you tell someone I've been divorced, I have 6 kids, and they look at you like, dang, do I really want to talk to her? With 6 kids, they're like, but you don't look like you got 6. I'm like, yeah, I got 6 kids. I was married for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like sometimes you don't want to like fuck around.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Yeah, say
Sorry.
what you want.
Okay. You just don't like, some guys just want to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and then mentally it's like, I'm not there.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be someone's like booty call.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be that, because it's like,
You're too old for that. Like,
not only that, it's just like there's so many STDs, and I don't know if it's just like the older me thinking, like it's just like I don't want to give the best part of me away.
Yeah.
Even
That's
though
true.
like you long for that, you want somebody to share, I guess, like a passionate night, or just like, I don't know, but I just don't want to give the best part of me away and just like share myself, my body with somebody who I know doesn't give a fuck at the end.
Yeah.
They're just gonna F me and done. On to the next girl.
Back on the app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even like if you meet somebody in person, they're like super interested, but the second you tell them like more about you, like,
Mm-hmm.
I have 6 kids, my ex-husband's like, this and this, and he did this to me, and then they're like, whoa. Like sometimes they just don't want a part of it. So I don't know, dating, I guess it's like really hard.
Yeah.
Luckily for me though, there is somebody special in my life.
Good.
He's really, really special to me.
You make sure you keep him away from the ex-husband as far as you can, because that man, your ex, is gonna show out when he run into y'all.
Stop.
He,
Stop. Stop.
I'm gonna have you on here for a follow-up after that happens.
A lot of people say that. I don't feel in my heart that my ex-husband like will do anything
Have you run into him?
to my ex-husband.
Like, I just out and about.
I've seen him.
Has he seen you though?
Yeah,
Oh, he did.
he sees me because the condos where I live, his mom lives in the same complex. That's the whole reason why we moved from Riverside down to Otay, to be close to his mom. So I see her every day. I see his family.
Did she speak to you
No, she acts like she don't know me,
after 22 years?
and she acts like she don't know my kids either.
After 20.
After 22 years, she could.
Grandma.
Grandma.
Wow.
I was married to her son. I was the first. Oh, actually, I was the second one to marry one of her sons because she has 5 boys. But she act like she don't know me.
That's crazy. I got a friend. She's going through she just went through something like that. She divorced her guy 2 years ago, and it just became final. Like, I think like in the last year. She was with this dude. They got married after like a year and a half. She was with this dude for like almost. They were married almost 8 years together. The whole time they were together was like 10 years. She said like in like the last like 2 years he wasn't working. She has a great career. A nice career. She was taking care of everything. They had a nice house, and he had like all these little projects going on. So she was like, all right, well, focus on your projects right now. You know what I mean? I got enough money for both of us. You really passionate about this stuff, focus on your projects. And she gave him like a year or two to, like, you know what I mean, to do his thing. Did nothing. Just hung out, relaxed, you know what I mean? Got way too comfortable, complacent. So she was fed up. She filed for divorce, left him. His family won't speak to her. And she was like, do you understand? I have been taking care of your son for 2 years. He's been living great, They live in Florida. She met him. She's from Florida. He lives in LA. And I forgot how they met, but they were like doing like long distance for like probably like a year, and then she moved to LA. And that's where she's been for like the last 8 years. For him. You know what I mean? She moved to LA, and then yeah. And he just wouldn't do anything. And he's like, I think he was like 37, 38. And she left him. And then now his whole family, his sisters, everyone, they won't speak to her. After 10 years. And she's like, you're mad because I left your grown son who doesn't want to work or do anything. They don't even have kids. So it's like, what are you doing with all your time? And she just told me that recently. She's like, yeah, now they won't speak to me.
So I see his family, and actually yesterday I was coming home and I seen all his family outside, and I'll wave hi to everybody. I'll ignore his mom just because she has disrespected me so much. I don't give her the time of day no more. I don't entertain her. She already knows how I feel about her. I've called her out her name I don't know how many times.
His mom?
His mom.
Yeah.
And there's reasons why me and him got a divorce.
Yeah.
He drug abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse, belittled me, made me feel like I was nothing. And then you really start to believe that, and then you stay in that marriage because you know no better.
Yeah.
You don't know any better. And then as you start to grow, you're like, oh, this is not normal.
Yeah.
It's not okay, to be treated like this and to be crying every day. And even till this day, sometimes I feel like being sad is normal because that's what I'm so used to. You feel like sometimes when you cry, you're like, oh, okay, this is like my comfort. I'm good.
Wow.
But then like you get out of it like, no, that's not okay. That's like, past learned behaviors, learned patterns, and that's not okay.
Yeah. Now that he's gone, you're probably like, whoa, I'm not crying anymore.
I'm not being verbally abused. I'm not being called a bitch. I'm not being called a hoe. I'm not being like, oh, I caught your mom cheating when he knows I never did that. Or like, your mom's not working. She's out there like hoeing it. Or, straight calling me a bitch in front of my boys.
That's insane.
And, I said we have 6 kids. We have 4 boys. And 3 of my boys two are adults and 1 is 17. But I can tell you, he's fist fought my kids. Because of how he's disrespected me, that they try to stand up for me. That's when I knew, like, this ain't right.
Yeah.
For my kids to literally start fighting right here, fist fighting, and end in the living room.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Can you believe that?
I always feel like people should have a code, like when you're married. It's like whatever we going through, that's between us.
Exactly.
Do not let the kids know.
And that's what my special someone always says.
Yeah, people used to be like that back in the day. Like, yeah, whatever we going through, that's us.
Yeah.
When the kids walk in this room, shut up, and we'll get back to this. You know what I mean?
That is like a conversation I try to have with my kid's dad today. Today was like, I know I said I haven't talked to him, but we really don't talk. But I wanted to talk to him because I want to ask him, like, how can we co-parent? Like, how can we make this experience of divorce not be a nasty one? Like, everyone associates divorce with, like, bitter and hate and that MFer and that be, like that. I was like, what have we learned from this? Where have we grown?
Yeah.
Like, how have we grown as knowing each other since we were young to, like, this point where you can't stand me, when I didn't really do anything to you. And I'm not the victim because I got attitude sometimes. But I was like, why can't we just, like, be cordial and talk and discuss things like mature adults? Like, there's no reason why this divorce experience has to be associated with nasty feelings.
Right.
We can pick each other up and we can be there for each other. I think he's mentally not there yet. Mentally, I'm there.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's upset because, he thought I was going to just take it like I have been. But I think I can honestly tell you, I don't ever think I was like in love. I don't ever think I knew what love was.
With him?
Yeah, like falling in love. I don't think I ever knew what that was.
That's so young too.
Yeah, you don't even know what an orgasm is.
Yeah, you say you're 18?
I was 18 and he was 17.
Oh, he's even younger, yeah.
So, we're experiencing everything together. Yeah. We're learning things together. And, throughout the marriage, there's him exploring other options, I'm going to say.
Wow.
And then, me as a little girl, I'm like, well, what is he doing? Like, why is he doing that? But I don't know any better because I've never was taught if a man is doing this, that means he's cheating. You really don't know.
That's true.
You don't know. You're just naive even at 21, and you only know.
21, yeah. So young.
Even, I want to say my mid-20s, my late 30s, like, you still don't know because that's all you know.
All you know.
He's all I ever knew. And I don't think it was more love. I think it was more, I got pregnant by him, and then we ended up just being together, like hanging out. It was fun, and then I got pregnant again. And then my second son, I was like, oh, he's like, you want to get married? I'm going to just tell you this. It was really nice. That's one good memory that I do have. I don't want to cry.
What, him saying you want to get married?
Yeah, we were at the beach, and
How old were you?
I think it was like 21, 18, 19, 20, 20. Yeah, because I had my second son. We were at the beach, and I still remember the sun was reflecting, or the moon, it was going down, it was reflecting, and we were at the basketball court. I was like, and then he just like got on one knee, and I turned around, and he was on his knee, and he asked me to marry him.
I like that.
It was like really nice. It was really romantic. It was it was sweet because obviously you have kids by a man, you want to marry him.
Yeah.
And
Make the family.
it was nice.
What
Then
beach?
Mission Bay,
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Y'all,
by
y'all,
SeaWorld.
yeah, I know exactly. Oof. For those of you who have not been to San Diego and gone to Mission Beach, you need to come out because I spent a lot of time. I know exactly where you're talking about. Oof.
And he used to live in Claremont, so it was like it was right by his house, so we couldn't walk to. I don't know if it was Claremont. We couldn't walk to the beach, but that's one good memory that I do have. How he proposed, and then we got married, and then one slap in the face came, and I was like, one lip busted. I'm like, oh shit, like this motherfucker just hit me.
Like a real slap.
Yeah, like a real slap.
At 21?
Yeah, a real slap in the
So
face.
young, already putting hands on people at such a young age. That's insane.
A slap in the face, a busted lip. I had my son, my last son, my fourth son. He threw a candle. I'm talking about like a big ass candle.
At you?
Yeah, and I had the baby in my hands, and he didn't hit me.
God, he's violent young.
Then he told me he was gonna change. We moved from Hemet to Temecula. He's like, I'm gonna buy you a house. I'm gonna change. Pick whatever house you want. So here I go. I picked this beautiful house, 2-story, huge house.
In him?
No, in Temecula.
I love it up there.
I know, me too. Me too. And he's like, I'm not gonna do drugs no more. He's like, I'm gonna change. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, Mom, he told me to go look for a house. He's gonna buy me whatever house I want. He has good credit, he has a good job. And I find the house, we move in. The first day we move in, he grabs me from my face because he was drunk and he wanted to go watch a movie. And I was like, I'm not gonna go with you because you're drunk.
Day one?
I kid you not, P. Day one of living into the house after he just promised me he was gonna change.
Day one, it's supposed to be like
a honeymoon. Yes. Yeah. Our kids got their own rooms, Yeah. We moved into a white neighborhood. Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you about that. We moved into a white neighborhood, and our next door neighbor was black, and she told us there's a lot of racist people in here. And I'm Mexican, he's Samoan. Our kids are looking crazy. They're wild. My son's got like curly old hair. We're just like all over the place. So I was like, we did it. And one thing she always told me, she's like, your money is just as good as their money.
Yeah, if not better.
So I was like, okay. So the first day we moved in there, he's like, let's go to the movies with the kids. I was like, I don't want to go. I was like, you're drunk. And he's like, you've been cheating on me all day. He grabs me from my face like this. He slaps me and grabs me from my face and just pushes me back. And I get up. We start swinging. My son comes down, and my son is like, what happened? And he said, your mom hit me.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, this motherfucker just hit me. I've been choked to the point where he's like picked me up off my feet because he's strong.
Samoan.
He's picked me up on my feet and just choked the shit out of me. And that's when I must have called the cops like 4 times. He was in jail. I went to jail for hitting him. The cop said, if I come here again, I'm going to take your kids. That's the last time. That was in 2017 when I first started my divorce. I left. He didn't let me take nothing out of my house. It was in the middle of winter. I couldn't take no sweaters. No.
Wouldn't let you go in?
He wouldn't let me go in. He didn't let me take none of my kids' stuff. Not even for his own kids.
Wow.
So I ended up staying. Yeah, I ended up staying on my brother's couch with my kids, and then at my mom's house, and we were like bouncing around so the old house that we had in Hemet, I had a tenant in there. I had to tell her I needed my house back, and we went back to Hemet and we started from scratch. Wow. Didn't ask anybody for anything. I started working with my stepdad. I went to college. When he seen that things were good, he creeped up right back in my life.
I bet he did.
And right back in my life, and I took him back.
He probably came back begging and promises.
But yeah, he told me he was gonna change, that things were gonna be better. He's like, let's move to San Diego. We're gonna buy a house again, and I'm hopeful. You know, that time I wasn't dating. I was just like, just going out here and there, whatever. There was nothing big, but I was like, all right. We ended up coming back down here. It got worse. We had the cartel say they were gonna kill us because he was gonna get a prostitute, didn't pay her.
Wow. Down in TJ, huh?
No, I think it was here, like in Chula Vista.
Wow.
I mean, him fighting my kids, me working nights, my kids say, Mom, he's fighting with us and this and this. And I'm like, all right, yeah, that's enough. That's when we just like had to call it quits, and he left. He packed his shit and left.
That was it.
That was it.
That's probably the best outcome ever.
At the time, it felt like it, but as a time, and I just want to say, in the midst of my divorce, my son was incarcerated. And I was working 12-hour shifts, getting out of work, picking up my other 5 kids, my pregnant daughter-in-law, coming to the jail, juvenile hall, and visiting my son. So on top of my divorce, I would go to work at 6 o'clock in the morning, get off at 6, Zoom home, pick up my kids, and visit with my son at juvenile hall from like 7 to 9.
That must have been a crazy time.
It was the worst time of my life.
How old was he, the son?
My son was 16 at the time.
So young, yeah.
My son was 16. That alone, and having to visit my son alone with my kids, not having his dad there with me, was like also one of the hardest things I've done.
Yeah.
Well, that my son wanted to see him. He wanted to go see his son, and he said, I don't want to be in here no more. When you get out, you know where to find me.
Oh, he don't want to go see the son anymore.
He don't want to see my son anymore, and he walked out of the visit. But, he's on drugs, so what are you going to do?
Right. He's probably paranoid going in there thinking they're probably going to arrest him. He probably was. He's probably going in there going, holy shit, like they might notice I'm on something right now.
Well, if he would have. One time we went, and he was shaking the candy machine. Like literally like grabbed it and shaking it so the candy would come out. And walking around barefooted too.
At the jail?
At the juvenile hall. Keep in mind, they know who we are. Like, they know my son. They're going to be like, this mug is crazy like his dad.
And then he's barefoot.
And he's barefoot because it was hot. It was in the summer.
I was going to say, which is not uncommon in San Diego.
Yeah, it's not.
People be everywhere with no...
But you can't be like that in a juvenile hall detention center.
Yeah. When you got a young son in there, you got to go in there and encourage him.
Yeah.
And tell him, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it was...
Some words of wisdom. Make sure this is like his first and last time in this place.
I hope so. My son's done though. He's off probation. He's working.
Good for him.
Yeah. Well, oh my gosh, we're so done with that.
Good.
I don't even want to bring that up no more. I'm so traumatized over that. That was so hard.
I bet. 16 is so young. People don't realize how young it is.
And then he's also in there with murderers, kids who done like real crimes.
A lot of these kids are cartel kids. People don't know that. A lot of these kids are cartel kids. They may live here, but they go home all the time to see their uncles and their big cousins, and you know what I mean? There's a comedian right now. He's young. I forgot his name. He's booming right now. He shares his story, how he left. He was in the cartel at like 14, doing all kind of stuff. Now he's on like Comedy Central, like doing. He's a comedian, a young Mexican kid, and he's talked about he talks about all the stuff they had him doing. And he just had to get out of that, and he got into comedy, and now he's booming. I forgot his name. I just started running into this dude.
I can tell you that this experience did humble my son.
Man, good thing he didn't meet no young kids into that. You know what I mean?
He did.
Oh, he did?
He got pushed. He got pushed a lot. He was really strong, though.
Good.
He was mentally strong. He said people were like trying to try him, and, he's a big kid, so
yeah, he's Samoan.
Yeah, but they're not like huge. They're like, built. I'm like, yeah. So, he would just be like, just look at them and be firm and say like, I don't want no problems.
Yeah.
He was just doing his time. Yeah. He just wanted to come home. And
let me just do my time.
Every day we'd remind him, it's like not worth it. Like, we want you to come home. It's not worth it. And me praying like so scared, like, oh my gosh, is he gonna get in a fight? When he wouldn't call me, I would call the jail.
Yeah.
I'll be like, why hasn't my baby called me? And they're like,
in there, like total?
almost like 2.5 months.
That's long.
Yeah.
That's all summer.
It was his whole summer. And then when he got out, he had an ankle bracelet.
Oh wow. That's a whole summer.
Yeah. And you know, I just want to say there's two sides to every story.
Mm-hmm.
And
at least he's out.
yeah, he's out.
At least he didn't do 2 years. I have a little cousin.
Gosh, don't say that.
We have a little cousin right now. He's like the little bad boy.
The black sheep.
Yeah, pulling guns and robbing. He went in, I think around this time last year. It's my cousin's son. Yeah. He's like my little second cousin. But he got in all kind of stuff, pulling guns, robbing people at gunpoint. They gave him around this time last year, I believe it was. They gave him he got 4 years. And what is he? I believe he's 21. Yeah, he's like 20, 21. He's young. He got hit with 4 years, and he even couldn't believe it, because before that he was getting into little stuff, Yeah. And then he'd be in there for a month, a couple months, and he's out on the street. Then he's right back with his little crew, and around this time last year they gave him 4 years, and I believe he's 2021. Yeah, he's 2021. 4 years, and he's come. I think he couldn't believe it.
Yeah, we couldn't believe it that my son even got time.
Yeah.
We thought that he was going to come out, and that was not the case.
Mm-hmm.
But he learned. He graduated. He bought his own car. He's still working. So I'm like, let's just keep it pushing. We put everything behind. Once they expunged or they sealed his records, we're done. I'm like, I'm not talking about that or the other party involved. They're done.
Yeah. Yeah. My little cousin, he's feeling it right now. They said he's in there complaining and.
I bet.
Yeah, I'm like, you might as well get used to this.
I know my son too. He's like, it's cold. I'm hungry.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give us our snack. There's kids punking other kids for their snack.
Yeah, they're trying to be little bad boys in there. Yeah.
They're trying to prove a point. They're trying to make a name for themselves.
At that age, young egos, and I'm like, you in here showing off for people you're never gonna see again. It's not like you in high school and this is the group for 4 years. You showing off in jail for people you ain't never gonna see again. Chill out.
Yeah, but it was really hard not having him with me. But again, I had that special person just lifting me up, just there for me. I appreciate him so much for that.
You need people like that.
Yeah.
And hopefully the ex-husband will get it together out there. He sound like he's just out here showing out.
But you know what though? Like I said, how do I say this? Knowing his family and where he's coming from and his extended family, I don't see a change just because they're all like that. They claim that, oh, family this, family that, but how can you see your family walk right by you and you act like you don't know them when they're your blood and they're supposed to be Samoans and all this bond, but that's not true. I always say, the problems between me and their dad, that's between me and him. The kids have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing to do with it. I hate when people are arguing and talking crap about each other in front of the kids. Like, yo, there should be a code. When we get divorced, this should be a shock to them.
The code should be shut the fuck up,
Yeah, when parents file for divorce, this should be a shock to the kids. They should be like, what?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, why?
Yeah. They shouldn't even know all the behind the scenes stuff. Yeah. Again, for those of you listening in, the story we are touching on is House of Remember, Jackie Rivers' story. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on and sharing your story. This has been fun. We're gonna have to do this again because I'm sure you got 22 years of good stories and insight that a lot of women are probably gonna listen to this and say, "Oh, this sounds like my guy." They're gonna say, "This sounds like my ex," or "This sounds like my current." Yeah.
Don't change.
Yeah.
It gets worse.
Especially when you start getting violent at 2021. It's it's crazy.
Yeah. I just want to say too, when I told his mom that he hit me, she said, "What did you do?" And from that I was like, oh. But then all his brothers have hit their wives. All of them.
Oh, it's a family thing.
Including the dad has beat the mom's ass. So, like I said, he got it from his dad. All his brothers have hit their wives.
And now they think it's okay.
They think it's okay.
This is all they know.
So I have to like reiterate in therapy and tell my kids it's not okay. The relationship that we were in is not okay.